Hello, hello, welcome. All right. It's Halloween here. Sandra, I'm not sure what to expect by way of participation. Um, so happy Halloween. Do you guys celebrate Halloween? Or I'm sure to some extent. Is it big? Like it's huge here, obviously. All right, you should be able to see my screen. We're gonna give it just another minute or so and see if anyone else joins us. You had it last night. Love it. Blast with the grandkids. Went to the beach, played around in the dark. I love it. We're kind of uh stepping away from Halloween. Both our kids are gone into college. So it's just the two of us and the dog. We decided just to cook some dinner and watch a movie, and we turned off the lights. But we've only had like two. I'm telling you, they're getting lazy here. The kids, they don't like walking. They have trunk or treats where they go to churches and everyone just parks their car and they just walk around the parking lot. Come on, you got to earn it. I put in miles when I was a kid. Miles. I was telling my wife we had to avoid bag snatchers. The older kids would snatch your bag. If you're not careful, you better be ready to run. The 80s was a different time, you know? All right. Well, uh, let's dive into it. Let's, yeah, that would make it hard, a kilometer away. That'd make it hard. Welcome to the Market Watch Group, Trading Foundations. The Trading Foundations, we're getting about 2/3 the way through. We've hit a lot of the concepts. Now we're starting to tie it all together, right? And you know, we have all the elements. We've talked about risk. We've talked about rules and routines and strategies and charts and right, all the different things. And now, you know, this is where it allows you to put it together the way we try to put it together in the group, where we're looking through charts. We know exactly what we're looking for. What's the setup? What's the trigger? How many am I looking for? Which one? If there's three in a group, which one do I take? I mean, we just want to start having this guidance. The trading plan is what our psychology should be rooted in. That is the found everything we're doing in our foundations class. Our foundations course is geared to help you better define and build your trading plan. Everything we do in the group is all about your trading plan. The first most important step in the action we take in our trading plan is market posture, and that's why that's such an important routine for us. But it's all designed very, very very deliberately to now start to, you know, really define. We have the structure, the skeleton. We're fleshing it out now. We're giving it the meat and the substance. So this is obviously it's a two-part. We can't do this in one night, so we're going to break it up, establish, you know, the groundwork for this session, and start going through. Pardon me. Each trading plan section has its own video in the content library that you can go in and go through. Here, what we're trying to do is talk about it and see how it fits from piece to piece. And the more we can present this entire picture so that you can see what it's supposed to look like, the better. the analogy I often use, and that's why I like to try to cover different aspects of our trading multiple times, but from different angles. Trading is like a puzzle, right? Someone comes and they say, all right, and they dump out the pieces. They dump them out. You start doing your routine. You turn them over. You're facing them all up, looking for the corners. And as you do that, you notice that person walks away with the box. You're like, well, that just made things harder, didn't it? What the hell is this supposed to look like when I'm done? Am I building is this right? Or these right? We need to see. And so that's the same thing is we're building all these different pieces, these sections of the plan, but we sometimes need to just be able to see how do they all fit together. And I believe it creates that belief and therefore allows us to have a stronger level of discipline as we execute that. So let's dive in. My name is Scott. I will be your host. To late arrivals, happy Halloween. Here's the disclaimers, as always. And you're just in time. Here's our agenda. I mean, you missed an amazing intro, of course. Because, I put a lot of time and effort to trying to give amazing intros. And so I'm sure you'll probably want to go back and just listen to the intro and be like, yeah, he's right. It was amazing. I'm glad I did this. So that's certainly available for you via the recording. But number one, what are we doing here? We're talking about the blueprint for success. It can't be an accident. We can't accidentally trade our way to success, right? That doesn't happen. We can't get lucky. We can't just sort of stumble. Everything is defined. Everything is considered. I've fallen in love with the word deliberate, and I had to reframe my perception of that word because as a kid, it was a bad word to me, right? That was deliberate. You did that deliberately, meaning I hit my brother or I did something that I got in trouble for because I did it on purpose. And so that always was associated with trouble. But now I think of the term deliberate is, we're with careful consideration, forethought. We're planning in advance, thinking about it. We're considering it. We're creating a course of, it's very deliberate. It's not like, what should I do here? We know exactly what we're doing. So we'll talk about that for sure. And understanding the need to create and maintain the structure and the organization. I've seen a lot of different trading plans, and I have a very particular affinity to a certain style, and I'll tell you why. And then we're going to get into the first half of our trading plan. So we're going to talk about, but rather than say like this is what it is, we want to understand why are we doing that? Like what is it trying to help us do within the context of the overall objective we have with a complete trading plan. So we're going to talk about personal info and the subcomponents that exist there. We're going to talk about market posture and the thought process of not necessarily, we're not going to review the components. That's not what we're going to do. We have videos on that, multiple different ways to look at that. What we're talking about is more the implications, right? What are we walking away from? What are we doing with our market posture? What are we doing with our trading posture? What are the specific implications that should be established? Whoops. Am I busy hitting my desk with emphasis and I hit my mouth? Sorry. We'll talk about trading systems and rules. We went into great detail about the construct of systems and rules and how they work together in order to create our day by day, like, actions to take, what priority, what has to be done. All of this is about checks and balances. And there's a lot of moving parts, especially when you start dealing with options and time values and theoretical pricing models. And so, we really want to establish these rules and allow it to be as automatic as possible, meaning we're not having to be like, is it, isn't it? We just have to say, look, I keep conducting all my routines and it'll keep me understanding where the money's flowing. It'll keep me with the right watch list. I'll be looking for the right signals during those conditions. You're everything about what you're doing is constantly looking to fluidly move with market conditions. Risk management, that's the last piece to today. We're going to talk about as you move forward. Hopefully this is an interesting time because we're starting on section 1 this week. So over the next 2 months, right? Over the next 2 months in our group, we are going to be building our trading plan one step at a time, 1 week at a time. Section 1, section 2. Hopefully this is going to give you a different perspective to go into that with, because if you've done it once, you're on your next iteration. If you've done it twice, you're really starting to polish it. If it's your first time, it's going to give you a sense of how you want to define it, what you want to do with it. Okay. So risk management. Best practices, and then we'll summarize that. That's what we're talking about today. I love this, right? This to me, I remember when I first started coaching, right? When I first started coaching and I was, had been trading myself. I had worked on a trading desk, but I hadn't achieved the success I wanted as a trader, right? It was not as consistent as I wanted. And I kept hearing people say, you need a trading plan. You need a trading plan. Okay, great. What does that look like? Mind you, this is 18, 19 years ago. And, Google was much less Google then than it is now. And it was a lot harder at the time to find. So I'd, Google a trading plan and I'd see like step 1 through like number 1, do this, number 2. And it was just like these 10 bullet points. I'm like, that doesn't feel like a trading plan. And so my thought was this: if you treat trading like a hobby, it will pay you like a hobby, which means you will pay it, right? Now, I don't mean hobby meaning, you're only doing an hour a day. You need to do 10 hours a day. That's not what I mean at all. If you're day trading, certainly you're going to spend more time. If you're a swing trader, hour and a half, easily you can accomplish it in that amount of time. And in the way that you structure the part of what your trading plan will do is build the structure so that you optimize every 20 minutes before the market open window, 30 minutes during the market, 30 minutes after. You're an hour 20. It's fully managed, an hour on the weekend, right? So it's up to you. What I mean is the consistency. It's a part-time business. It's a business, though. It's got to be a business. Treat it like a business if you want it to pay you like a business, which means what? Business plan. So that's what I thought. How do I take a business plan, turn it into a trading plan? And that's what started the construct for what is now our trading plan template, right? So just like in a business plan, they start with the executive summary. What do you want to know? Who's driving the ship? Now, here's the thing. We're not looking to account to a bank in order to get money. We're looking to account to ourselves. There's a banker in you who's a little more conservative, who's watching the coffers and they're saying, why should I let you have this $10,000 to trade? Why should I let you have this $20,000 to trade? And the trader in you is like, well, let me tell you about this. I've got this technical analysis and I've got these options and I'm going to do this and it's going to be amazing. Right. And the banker's like, whoa, compadre, slow down. Don't tell me about it. Show me what? Show me the plan. Because if you're telling me something, it's not strong enough. You show me a written plan. Now we're getting there. That's why for me, it has to be written. We have to work. You can't tap your head and say, here's my trading plan. Right. You have to have it written down. And that's why every aspect has to be gone through. And that's what we're going to be talking about, right? So a trading plan matters. It's a journey. We're in a journey. Opportunities, risks. A deliberate trading plan is your roadmap. Navigate this successfully. Now, the problem is our journey changes and the map has to change. There's not just one journey. Like it's fluid. Our destination changes a little along the way. And you're like, oh, well, then I better take this detour. Well, then I better. And we have to make sure that we are fluid in the way that we approach the market. The market is what helps define our trading plan and our roadmap. So it helps us manage risk, optimize chance of success. It's our personalized blueprint for trading, strategies, goals, risk management, decision-making processes. Right now, today, over the weekend, At nights, when you're working on your trading plan, it's very easy to get the professor, right? The logical, the rational, you, to the computer to do some work. The computer is our rules of thumb, our automations, our heuristics, and our objective here is to keep the chimp away. The chimp is that irrational, the fearful, erratic, a little bit violent. It panics. We do not want the chimp to get to the computer. We need the computer to be well programmed so that even if the chimp gets there, you can't mess it up, right? You learn with your phone to set it up a certain way so when you give it to your kid, they don't start buying $500 of goods on Amazon, right? One time, okay. Second time, now it's our fault. So we have to make those plans, and what it does is it ensures a focus on execution and improvement. What are we going to do today? Doesn't matter if it's your first, your 10th trading plan. This is the most important thing you're going to do as a trader is build your trading plan. The trading plan is a representation of you. It's fluid, it's dynamic, it's living, it's breathing. You'll have a lot more iterations early than you do later. Now, I might once a quarter take a look. Once a year, I'll really dive into it, but I don't look at it weekly. I used to do it weekly, 100%, right? I would evaluate it. I would look at my rules. I would be reflecting on them. I would be testing things. Here's what I want you to remember. Successful traders do what failing traders don't want to. This is a big part of it, right? They don't want to dive in. They want to just trade. I'm a trader. I want to look at the charts and fire a trade. Oh, let's plan this. Let's really build a successful structure and a foundation. Okay. So let's talk about that structural organization. We want a foundation, right? It's an organized plan. It ensures that every aspect of our trading has been defined. There's an outline. If you have a section that hasn't got anything in it, there's a hole in your trading plan, and holes are where money fall out. There's no room for ambiguity. All we want to do is get that first pass. We get that first pass, then the next iteration, we start to improve it. And then the next time we work on it, now we're really starting to polish it. And you're starting to see more data in your trade log. You have actual data. That data is going to help drive decisions. Don't make emotional decisions. That's the chimp. The professor wants to see the numbers and say, you know what? I think we can reduce the size of an average loss. How? This is what we're going to do, right? And then we chart, we test it, and we look at the average losing trade number from that point, and we say, is it getting smaller? Did we accomplish it? The data will tell us if we did or didn't. It's that simple, right? Clarity and focus. So it helps us to see where the weaknesses are. We need to step back and see it from more of a top of the hill general's perspective. Sometimes we get a little bit myopic as we're doing one trade at a time, one section at a time. We need to step back and see the whole thing. And it allows us to make sure that our objectives and our methodologies are aligned. Objective, reduce emotional decision-making, i.e. the chimp, and impulsive actions. A well-organized plan shields us against risk. We outline risk management strategies. We protect capital. We ensure that a losing trade or a change in market conditions doesn't jeopardize trading success. It's a hiccup, right? It's a hiccup. And we look at it and say, hey, if I break even when the market's down 10%, if I'm down 3 and the market's down 10 or 15, I can live with that. As long as I'm ahead of the market, it allows me to be able to assess that. It allows us to evaluate where we can improve our performance. It stands out, right? When we have a structured trading plan, we have standardized. We standardize how we read the market. Then when we look backwards, if the market did something and we didn't see it, we know we need to reevaluate that and build a better process there. So far, we've seen, again, we don't think we have a crystal ball, but everything that's happened, we've been in front of it. Did I trade bearishly? No. I took a few hedge trades, pre-planned hedge trades. Did I have much bullish on? Yeah, my risk has been light. Overall, I would say positive over August and September. when the rest of the market is down 10% positive, I don't know, 2, 3%, 4%. I wouldn't expect it to be much. Why? Because I'm not taking a lot of risk. Why would I take a lot of risk in a deteriorating market condition? All of that, what we're talking about is it empowers us to make better decisions. The structure, the data, it's empirical, right? And it's almost impossible to panic, to make emotional decisions, because you've gone through and you've built these mechanisms that dictate and guide everything that we do, and it's fluid. We're ready to say, hey, whoa, something's changing. Let's be ready to take a little less, take a little more. Let's get ready to hedge. Where's the money going? Let's go find it. Let's jump in. The institutions are always going to create waves. We're always going to be able to find them and ride them. Let's dive into the specific sections. Strengths and weaknesses. Right? We're talking personal info. So executive summary. This is where we take a good, this is our first foray where we get comfortable with an uncomfortable aspect of trading. Get comfortable with discomfort. That's a interesting concept that you can find in a lot of different places in life, right? Where it's like you gotta break out of your rut. So the first thing is, whenever something goes wrong, where should we look? In the mirror. That's where you should be like, was this you? Did you do this? Right? Did I do this? Or was this the market? Was this bad news? Was there, I mean, could we know that there's escalated geopolitical conflicts. Those things can happen. It can, different things can happen, right? But we want to get into a habit of looking inward first and then going from there. The personal info of our trading plan is an honest assessment of strengths and weaknesses. And that honest assessment provides a foundation for self-improvement. Remember that those weaknesses, we're going to take one or two of those that we know impact us, and we're going to go to our trading goals, section 8 of our plan, and we're going to create goals to somehow mitigate. We're going to create some sort of an actionable plan that allows us to account for and mitigate weaknesses. When we build trading rules, we want to make sure that they play to our trading strengths. And the only way we can do that is by having them listed. Commitment and discipline. These are your sections, but the thought here is provide some sort of a statement that underscores, that dictates and helps you to establish a commitment statement to yourselves. Discipline has to be a desire, not a like a desperation, right? We can't white knuckle discipline. We've got to believe that what we're doing is right in order for us to. I see people buy trading systems and somebody else's rules all the time. I'm like, you train someone else's rules, you're never going to achieve or see what they see, because everything you do is going to be a little different, right? And I'm sure you've all experienced that when you've subscribed to something. Then it's like, they say they're making money and I can't seem to. Yeah, it's their system. We need to make it your system. Mission statement. Define your overall trading purpose, your objectives, the core values. Just a couple of sentences. I didn't bring mine with me. I'll bring mine to the next recording, and I'll show you my mission statement. That's a little bit more like a business, writing a vision statement or mission statement. Vision statement, this is a little more colorful. This is where you're saying, hey, you know what? In 5 years, when I'm trading the way I know I can, and I'm consistently squeezing 20-25% returns or more, sorry, lost my train of thought. What we want to be doing is creating our commitment, right? Our motivation. When trading gets hard, and it will get hard, you need to have an idea of the, why are you here statement. Because you know that when you achieve the success you're looking for, you're going to be able to achieve a different lifestyle. And that vision statement helps you to define that lifestyle. All right. Market posture. We know how important this is, right? We know how important our market posture is. Sorry, give me 1 second here. Okay, here we go. Market posture. Remember, there's 2 areas that we're looking to define in our trading plan. Number 1 is market posture. Number 2 is trading posture. Market posture is our overall perspective on economic and market conditions, right? What do we think overall? Are we bullish? Are we bearish? Are we neutral? Like right now, we're seeing things a little bit apprehensively as we see it move a little bit negative. Our trading posture, that's our now what perspective. What action should we be considering for that day, which includes hedging considerations, right? So our posture is our day-to-day. Are we actually placing bullish trades or bearish trades, or what exactly are we doing with that? Okay, so the implications. This is really where we're putting this into the computer. We want this to help us understand day to day what we're trying to accomplish. So the implications, types of trade. So first and foremost, are we taking short-term or long-term trades? Are we starting to day trade? If you're an options trader, are you buying options or are you doing spreads? Right? Just even the type of trade is going to be dictated by market conditions. The length of the trade. How long, right? There are times where I say if I get 2 days in a row, I'm going to sell half the trade. 2 days in my direction. I sell half, I move my stop to break even. This is that kind of trade or market, right? If you took a bullish trade, we've had a couple of good days. We said, well, look, there might still be a couple of bullish signals out there. If you get them, what's your thought? I'm thinking 2 days, I sell half. 2 days. Risk management adjustments. How many trades? How much risk per trade? Where do we set our stops? The position sizing. How do we diversify amongst sectors? Right? Those things are definitely important to us. Trade strategies and systems. Are you looking for a system that's breaking out, bouncing? Are you looking for a system that works in a sideways market? We want to make sure that if you trade moving average crossovers, right? If you trade moving average crossovers, a sideways market's going to chop you up. Period. So like right now, when you look at our posture, and we're a 1 moving into a minus 0.5, when you're saying, oh, that's this thing could go back and forth. There's absolutely no way I would trade any kind of a lagging system like that, right? The thought process would be, I want to trade at support and get out at resistance and try to do that on anywhere I might still have strength if I'm bullish. And I want to do the opposite of that with downtrends if I'm bearish. And lastly, trade management tactics. So, are we scaling in or out? Are we using trail stops? Are we selling half, a quarter? Are we selling 2/3, where we really start to lock those gains in? All right. The next aspect, this is a big one. Trading systems and rules. So defining trading systems and rules in our trading plan is crucial. These are guidelines that provide structure, consistency, risk management, reduce emotional decision, aid performance evaluation. It builds confidence, right? So what do our rules need to dictate? You should have rules that, number 1, say, what am I willing to trade? If you watch what we do, we're looking to identify momentum in sectors to say where we see sector momentum, that's where institutional money's going. So there's some expectation of continuation in that regard. We look to find over 2 million shares a day. That means liquidity so that we could trade options. We look to make sure that they're above 50 and 200-day moving averages to make sure they're uptrending. These are rules. Those are rules that I can build into a search in order to say, let's find candidates that we can put onto our watch list in order to wait for triggers. We have to decide what time frames. Right now, if we continue to see escalation and the VIX elevating into higher levels, I will start doing some day trading. What will my time frames be? 5 minutes, 10 minutes. When I'm swing trading, what is it? Daily, and sometimes I'll zoom down to 4 hours or 2 hours. Maybe even 1 hour. But what time frame or chart I use will be dictated by what type of trade, which is being dictated by market conditions. Position sizing, right? That's going to be a part of our risk management. Entries, we need exact setup and triggers. An entry is a setup, and what is the exact technical trigger that says now? Is it a candle? Is it a stochastics or some kind of an oscillator turning? Is it a moving average turning up? Something that has to tell you it's time to take the trade. We have to have an exact rule for our stop, with the stop being what's worst case scenario. Where do I draw a line in the sand intraday that says if it crosses that, we're done? I also want to have some exits defined that say, if it just happens to meander down for a few days and cross a certain level, I'm going to close it and keep my loss small. If it goes up, I'm going to have targets to the upside. So I need to have, the more of this I can have defined before the trade, the better the trade is going to be every single time. Exits, when to get out of a winning position. We need that. Trade management. Do we tighten stops? When do we tighten stops? Do we set trail stops? So things like that. And then our tactics, how much to buy or sell. Am I doing a quarter, a half, a third? As I'm taking pieces off, how much of it? All of that, I don't want to like mid-trade be like, you know what, today I'm going to do half. And then tomorrow I'm going to do a third. I want it defined. During market hours, the chimp has this way to sneak in and start smashing things up. So the more we can prevent that with our rules, the better off we're going to be. And the last from this first half of the trading plan is risk management. Here are the elements. This is directly from it. Let's just talk about it. What do you need in your risk management plan? You need portfolio heat. What's the most you want at risk in your portfolio at any given time? That number will change with market conditions. Better conditions, more risk. Conditions deteriorate, less risk. Right? We need trade risk. We need trade risk. How much are you willing to lose on any given trade? We need to know how many trades at any given time. So sometimes you can get that through portfolio heat and trade risk. Some people find, you know what, I can't manage more than 3 or 5 or 7. They're like, boy, I had more than 7, and all of a sudden I just felt overwhelmed. Great. That's important information. That helps you to say 7. That's my number. Well, if my portfolio heat is 10% and I'm willing to take 7 trades, that helps me to say I'm going to do 1.5% risk per trade. Now everything lines up. The numbers all add up. We need to understand our risk adjustments. That's going to be correlated to market posture. Do I adjust my portfolio heat? Probably yes. If I adjust my heat, do I do it by adjusting trade risk down, number of trades down, or a combination of both, right? So if I go from 12% heat to 5% heat, am I still willing to take 7 trades and I'm only going to take about 0.75% risk? Or am I going to say, you know what, I'm going to take only 4 trades at a time. So I'm going to go 4 trades, 1.25% risk. That puts me at 5% portfolio heat. Okay. Now, smaller accounts, you might be thinking 5%. What are you talking about? I'm 5% a trade. Yep. So you might be thinking 15%. I don't want any more than that. That's 3 trades. 5%, 3 trades, 15%. Anything above 5%, anything above 15, 20, that can stretch you if you don't have the numbers to prove. So be very careful with that. Tsunami indicators. How are you going to hedge? The VIX is our number one. We use it quite dogmatically almost. So we are definitely looking for tsunami indicators, possibly coming from major market analysis. A lot from the VIX, whether it's a high or low, whether it's break of a consolidation, anything that has you think, right? What are you hedging? Well, if you're very bullish, you need more hedges. If you're only kind of bullish, you don't need a lot of hedging. And that's the benefit. And sometimes our hedging will quickly turn to bearish speculation trades, and that's fine. When do we take a break? This is important. A lot of traders don't define this. What would make you say, I got to stop? So there's three primary considerations that I recommend traders evaluate. Number one, a percent drawdown. If you draw down 10%, 15%, I would, even with a small account, I'd be very careful not to let it get above 20. Because remember, if you lose 10, you got to make 11 to get it back. If you lose 20, you got to make 25. 25. If you lose, 30, it becomes 42%. If you lose 40, it's 66. If you lose 50, it's 100. The more you lose, the harder it gets. Don't lose money. So you might have a drawdown number that triggers it. You say, I've got to stop and evaluate. It might be a number of losing trades. Don't make it 3 or something like that, right? Really, if you're wrong, if you're right 40% of the time, and you can easily have a winning system with that, that's 60%. The odds of you having 5 losers in a row is pretty regular, right? It's probably going to happen 2 or 3 times every 100 trades, according to the statistical distribution of probability. Maybe something like 8 trades. You're like, okay, I've got to stop, right? I can't just keep firing trades. What am I doing here? You probably shouldn't be asking that question anyway, even though you might take another trade. But at a certain point, you got to be like, I'm going to stop. The third one, this is mine. For the last 3 times I've taken a break, it's because of this. You're out of your flow, right? Your zone. You're forcing it. You're frustrated. You're impatient. You just know you're not trading your best. It's like, okay, just stop. Give yourself a week off, but keep watching the market during that week. Take a break. Manage existing trades, but nothing new. It's funny, every time I do it, by day 4, always a trade. And I'm like, you know what? I've given myself 3. I feel better. I take the trade. Now, can I be like, and every time it's a winner? Of course not. But I feel like I'm trading better on that next trade. That's the important part. Not that the next one's a winner, because look what I did. I took a break and then I had a winner. Of course not. Okay, so best practices for developing a strong trading plan. Number 1, clearly define trading systems and rules. It's got to be concise. We don't want kind ofs. I kind of do this. I sort of do that. Let's define specific, concrete rules. Well-defined trading rules, systems. We want to ensure consistency, discipline, reduce emotion. You know the drill. Regularly review and update your plan. Right now, should be weekly. We're working on it weekly, 1 section at a time, weekly. Every month, every 2 months, you go through it. After the first year, that plan will be absolutely mind-blowingly amazing. After 6 months, you'll have 3 iterations. It'll be fantastic. It'll be strong. You'll have records. You'll have data. You'll be making better decisions. You'll be seeing things differently. We can't expect it overnight, but that's a good process to develop and implement. Maintain detailed records. You know that we're big on record keeping here. Entries, exits, outcomes. We want specific data that can help us to identify what needs to be better, help us fine tune. If we identify what needs to be better and we can fine tune it, right? If we can fine tune it, then we've already standardized the entire process. Now we can go in and fix every piece. That's where the constant improvement you can see there. Let's summarize it. Define rules and systems. Regularly review and update. Maintain detailed records. See constant improvement. The aggregation of marginal improvement. It doesn't have to be big things, little things. We're just doing things a little better, a little more efficient. We see it a little quicker. And the only way we can do that is if we have the structure and the standardization. All of these elements we can't miss a piece of this. That's why it's we try to just kind of circle around and talk about it and look at it from different perspectives. Exercise discipline, adhere to the plan, avoid the emotion, avoid letting the chimp smash the computer. Be patient. Consistent profits are going to take some time, especially if we have market conditions that aren't as cooperative. It's a lot easier to talk about profits in April, May, June, July. Now all of a sudden it's August and September. It's a little tougher. And we said in August, until something changes, we expect it to be worse. There was a couple of times where it was like maybe, and then it just didn't. And on the maybe, we took a couple bullish trades, didn't work out. I was hedging. Some of the bullish trades did. Okay. Never stuck my neck out too far. Stephen, thank you. I appreciate that. Love hearing this over and over. He said, burn into the brain. Repetition is the mother of all learning, over and over. It's funny because I tell you, I am trading more crisply than I have in a while. I think prior to really diving into this group together, there were aspects of my trading that had suffered an inadvertent complacency. We're so prone to that. And then when you look at it and you're like, why'd you stop doing that? You're like, I don't know why I did. It just sort of drifts away. You don't know why. You're not like, it's the frog in the water, right? When the change is slow, and then all of a sudden you're like, yeah, what happened? It's very different. And I think that this structure and this accountability, I find myself accountable more to myself now, just adhering to the principles of this group. Fantastic, man. I'm telling you, people will come and go. Person came in today, didn't like it, apparently left. Good. It's not for you. This is not for everyone. But if you want to achieve long-term success in trading, this is the path. I've seen lots of paths that fail. I've only seen one path that succeeds. This is it. It's a process. We're engineering here, right? We're using numbers. We're the math has to be there. If the math isn't there, we work until it is. That's it. We roll up our sleeves and we dig in and we work. Thank you, Stephen. I appreciate you letting me know. I'll definitely get the recording uploaded as quickly as possible. Questions? Let me have them. What questions do you have? I hope this. There you go. I like the image. Hopefully your trading plan looks a lot different when you first started, because I know those of you here have been in for a few passes. So yeah. Are there any areas of your plan that you feel you get more stuck on, or that you're not sure if you've gone as granular as you want into the detail, the level of detail that you're looking for? All right. Well, next session, build a trading plan, part 2. We're going to talk about the second half of the trading plan. I like that. No. I'm glad you shared with that. Want to get stressed easily, but want to be braver. I believe, like I said, I believe that the confidence comes from the plan. So the more defined the plan is, the more you're just executing what's already established. So that's the hope. Part 2, we're going to talk about routines. We're going to talk about the record keeping structure, the analytics. We're going to talk about setting goals and making improvements. The second half of this thing will be in 2 days. I hope you can join me for that. It's great to see everybody. I'm going to go hunker down and not answer the door for kids coming for candy. So I will see everybody tomorrow morning, except for Steven, who's traveling, but he will see the recording. I will see you guys tomorrow. Talk about the market. We've had a couple of good days that came on decreasing and less than average volume. We have some concerns about whether or not the buyers are going to have ability to snatch a hold of this thing, or if it's unconvincing as of now. Good to see you guys. Enjoy the rest of your night. And as always, happy trading.